Imagine a scenario where somebody is talking with you and he or she says something that you do not like, or in a way is a small insult to you. And now you're like, okay, you don't know what to say in that moment. The moment is over, that person is gone. And then you come up with these most fancy answers in your head. You're like, shit, why did it not come to me earlier? Why could I not reply with this answer? Does this happen with you? It used to happen to me a lot. Like now it doesn't happen very much because very often because I am mostly restricted to my own room and I have work which does not, I usually have my work friends and we don't insult each other. But it used to happen a lot earlier. So today we are going to learn the best way that you can learn to react when somebody insults you or acts over smart with you. Okay. So these are just very simple three things that I'm going to talk about. Apart from this, there is one amazing thing in this video, which is a great summary of how Steve Jobs handled his insult by a journalist. It's a very popular speech, extremely popular, studied all across the globe. People study it to see how he reacted in that moment. So I've picked up few parts of that speech, few parts of his question, and few parts of his Steve Jobs answer. And we're going to see the best way he handled his insult and how he stood out. Instead of being remembered as an insult to him, this conversation is actually remembered as a way of the smarts of Steve Jobs, how he handled it so well. I'm sure you're going to love it. So let's go back to that moment. Imagine that scenario where somebody insulted you or said something that you did not like very much, or you knew that the sarcasm was directed at you. Okay? And now in your head, you're like, I could have retaliated better had I been prepared. These are moments that make you feel dumb because you couldn't defend yourself. And it's very natural to feel this way. And then you prepare answers in your head. This could have been the best comeback. Or next time, this is going to be my approach. If he says something like this again. But this is all lame. It's of no use because the similar insult is not going to happen again. It's going to be something different the next time. Okay. People like these who like throwing sarcasm around and insulting people in their small ways, it's just their habit. We need to understand the psychology. We need to understand why they are doing this to you. Okay. Once you figure them out, it's going to be much easier for you. What if I tell you there is a way to completely eliminate these voices coming from within you? A way you would never regret in not being able to reply. All of that will perpetually shut down. But it needs practice, of course. Nothing is possible without practice. And giving yourself notes in such instances. So something like that happening with you in that moment, you start giving notes to yourself. You start talking to yourself as to how you can handle it better. Shortly, we get to that. We will discuss this in light of Steve Jobs' instance where he was insulted by a journalist in an interview. I have the best parts ready for you. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that. That part we're going to discuss later. Okay, for now, let's just come back and let me start by talking to you about an example. Sledging in cricket. Do you know what sledging is? Sledging is gali dena, okay, to bother the opposite player. You want to get their emotions to overcome their thinking. You want them to react in a foolish way. So you start sledging. Okay, it's something that happens everywhere. It's very common in cricket, in the game of cricket. Sachin, on the other hand, was adored for never getting bothered by this. Are you cool enough to handle this? Can you do something like this? Like somebody insults you and you are like totally unbothered. Can you stop someone from criticizing you? Is it even possible to stop people from talking about you? Is it even within your control to stop even a single person to talk about you? I don't think so. So let's just get better at mastering our responses than trying to control the trolls or simply others. Okay? So we're going to work on our responses rather than working on how to get people to act in a way which is suitable to us. Once I saw a very nice video of Gaur Gopal Das. What he was doing was, I'll tell you. So Gaur Gopal Das once said, in life, there will always be stimulus. to which you respond. But between stimulus and response, there will always be choice. You can't be a soda can. So he compared a soda can with a bottle, water bottle. So he compared a water bottle to a soda can. You can't be a soda can. That's what he said. You want to be a water bottle. No matter how much you shake, no gush of substance is out. So when you shake a soda bottle and you open the cap, you know what happens, right? But when you do the same activity to a water bottle, you shake the water bottle and you open the cap. Does the water come out with speed? Does it gush out? No, it doesn't. So you want to be a water bottle and not a soda can. That's what he said. It really stuck to me. It was a great advice, no doubt. So the master stroke here is, and which you have to learn, is that don't ask why this happened to me. Ask how I should deal with this. Learn the master stroke, okay? So rather than playing the victim in the story, how about you start thinking on the lines of what you can do better the next time something like this comes up, something like this happens to you. So learn the master stroke. So now let's start by talking about the 3 solutions that you can adopt in your regular life if such scenarios keep happening to you every now and then, okay? Because insults are normal. Sometimes they are shaped in a way of a friendly gesture where somebody is just being nice friends with you and they insult you and they just leave a comment and they go away. Sometimes things like these also happen. It's really difficult to handle scenarios like these where somebody is being nice to you and at the same time insulting you. But you can't keep taking the blows on your ego, on your self-respect. It's something that you need to address now, learn the best way of handling it and get over with it for once and all, okay? See, the simple advice here is a gift is yours only if you accept it. Otherwise, they take it back with them. Hate, anger, or any other negative emotion. They can only pass it to you if you take it as a gift. You accept the gift from them. So I'm going to be giving you 3 ways in this video how you can deal with insults. But the last one is my most favorite one. Okay. So we're going to be talking about the best one towards the end. Point number 2 has Steve Jobs interviews discussion. Okay. One's greatest challenge is to control oneself. Self-control is the only possible road to character development. And you know that already. Imagine someone calls you ugly and now you react. So if somebody calls you ugly and you react, there are 4 things that can come out of this. First is that you're agreeing with him. If you're reacting to him when he called you ugly, in a way you're telling him, yes, I am ugly. Second is it tells others that you're insecure of your looks. You're not sure about your appearance. You're not sure about your confidence. Thirdly, you're easily affected and you're very sensitive. Being sensitive is good, but you don't want everybody else to know that. Being sensitive can actually play out to be a weakness in your life. People might start using it against you. So it's better to control it in a way that you don't show it to others that you're very sensitive. You may be sensitive. In fact, world is worth living in because of the sensitive people in the world. And sensitive people are the best kind of people, but it can be a weakness. So better not show it to everybody around you all the time. And lastly, when you do something like this, when you react to an insult like this, what is showing is that you're angry. And anger is never the best friend of strength. Anger is always anti-strength. Whenever you're angry, you appear very, very weak. You appear vulnerable. So these 4 things come out of any reaction that you give for a negative comment that somebody has made on you. By handling these small situations here and there scattered in your life, in your work life, in your relationships, in whatever is going on otherwise, these small instances, they define how well you handle your situations. And with each passing attempt, with each victorious attempt, you tend to get more confident in yourself. You feel better about yourself with every such instant that you handle with positivity. So anger, keep it away. Don't get triggered. Don't give them that happiness. Don't let that negative energy strike you. There is nothing I regret more in life than the moments where I lost my cool, where I was angry and I was angry to extremes. And those are the moments I just can't forget. I really, really desperately want to forget those moments, but I just cannot. And I just cannot change anything in the past. But what I can do is learn from those mistakes and never let them repeat themselves in future. This willingness to work on your weakness is going to make you into a much better person. Second amazing way to handle an insult is being quiet. Now you may ask, ma'am, how is this going to help? How is me keeping quiet and not saying a word in return going to help my situation? So as I told you right in the beginning of the video that I'm going to be discussing about Steve Jobs' interview, and I'm going to be doing that in point number 2. So here we are. We're going to be talking about how Steve Jobs handled his insult in an interview in a press conference where many people were seated in front of him, and somebody who targeted him stood up and said many mean things to him. Let's dive into it so you understand better. Okay, here we go. This is what a journalist said to Steve Jobs. Mr. Jobs, you're a bright and influential man. This is how he begins. And the moment he uses these words, Steve Jobs like, here it comes, responds Jobs, as both he and the audience chuckled. So everybody laughed. Here it comes. So he's like, okay, I'm ready. Bring it on. I'm ready. You're going to insult me. All right, here it comes. And then comes the famous insult. This is what he said, the journalist. It's sad and clear that on several counts you've discussed, you don't know what you're talking about. I would like, for example, for you to express in clear terms how, say, Java or any of its incarnations addresses the ideas embodied in OpenDoc. And when you're finished with that, perhaps you can tell us what you personally have been doing for the last 7 years. Ouch. For most of us, a public attack such as this one would leave us at least a little flustered. But Jobs' response is a perfect demonstration of what to do in a situation like this. You'll learn quickly. Let's see. Now here are a few highlights of whatever he said in that moment. Okay, it's worth listening to. The first thing Jobs does is probably the hardest. He takes a pause, sits in silence, and thinks. Now, this is why I named this point as quiet. You must learn to stay quiet when somebody throws an insult at you. Okay, take a pause. Because when you take a pause, what you're doing is you're taking back the control. Okay, sit in silence. Let silence take over for a few seconds. Now, in what seems like an eternity to the audience and in reality lasted just about 10 seconds, Jobs takes a sip of water and reflects on both the criticism and the question. So, for a few seconds, 10 seconds, he's quiet and just thinking about the criticism that has just come his way. And then he answers. You know, he begins his reply, you can please some of the people some of the time, but another pause. This time for about 8 seconds. Okay, so this is what he says. One of the hardest things when you're trying to effect change is that people like this gentleman are right in some areas. The best way to change a person's mind is not to attack their position, but rather to find a common ground with them. You disarm them when you agree with them. This actually works. If you've never tried this, try it out. It's going to really work for you. Just agree with the person who's criticizing with you. You know, you're right. If somebody tells you, you used to look better earlier, just simply agree with them. You know, you're right. I haven't been able to take care of myself lately, but, and then you can come back with your comeback. So he goes on to say, becoming familiar with every feature of every app is not the CEO's job. So what he's doing here is that he's letting people, enabling people to see the bigger picture. Okay. Then he says, the hardest thing is, how does that fit into a cohesive, larger vision? That's going to allow you to sell $8 billion, $10 billion of a product a year. And one of the things I've always found is that you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. You can't start with the technology and try to figure out where you're going to try to sell it. So here what he's doing is he's using vulnerability to his advantage. In reference to working back to the customer, Jobs continues in this way. And I've made this mistake probably more than anybody else in this room. And I've got the scar tissue to prove it. And I know that it is the case. He praises his people next. There are a whole lot of people working super, super hard right now at Apple. And then he goes on to say a few names before going on to credit the whole team. He acknowledges them, he praises them, he lets them know that he's got their backs. This inspires the team and others to get behind him too. He finishes strong. Jobs' final words are motivating. You must hear them. Some mistakes will be made, by the way. Some mistakes will be made along the way. And that's good because at least some decisions are being made along the way. And we'll find the mistakes and we'll fix them. Jobs says to applause. And this is where he is concluding the speech. He then comes full circle to the original questioner. Mistakes will be made. Some people will not know what they're talking about. But I think it's so much better than where things were not very long ago. And I think we're going to get there. So this was it, This is where he dominates his speech. And I believe this is one of the most amazing examples on how you can handle an insult. So I urge you to go and read about the full discussion that happened between Steve Jobs and this journalist. It's going to be amazing. I'm not sure if that person was a journalist, but he was definitely a part of the press conference. Okay, so go and read about it. It's amazing. And people like these, they actually can teach you so much in life. Now, coming to point number 3, which is actually my most favorite point on the list, which is humor. This is the best technique of all. I'm telling you, humor is the best way to deal with an insult. I know it's the most difficult way because coming up with a quick comeback, for which Shah Rukh Khan is very known for, it's difficult. And it actually requires you to hold yourself in great self-esteem, where you're very, very confident about where you belong, about what you think about yourself. Okay. Nowadays, I've started to do this a lot. I'll tell you how. So on my Instagram comments, mostly people are very respectful and they are very, very, very nice to me. I am very, very grateful to them for that. But sometimes there are a few creeps, people are like that sometimes, trolls. And they will just write any rubbish. They would point out some mistake and insult me on that mistake. Now, if I have made a mistake, I usually end up accepting it and not defending myself. I just tell them, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. But yeah, thank you. I learned something from you today. This is how I usually handle my feedback when I've genuinely made a mistake. But sometimes they're just bullshitting. In such scenarios, I usually handle with a great comeback. And of course, I'm on comments, so I've got time to think before I write. So I come back with something that is humorous, something that makes people applaud for me. And it's just generally very amazing to see how I receive reaction to those comments. So that's all about it. These are the few things that we had for you in the video. The video is over now. I hope you learned something. 3 best ways to handle an insult. First is to understand that anger is not the answer. Somebody is trying to trigger you and you take the control of your situation back in your hands. Second is staying quiet for a few seconds, taking time before you react. And third is, of course, humor. So this was just a little summary for you right towards the end. I hope you learned something. Pass this video to as many people as you can because this is something that really connects people to each other. This is something that happens a lot with everybody in their lives and we must know how to deal with it. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, you take care of yourself. Bye-bye.